Okay, welcome to the Devstream 51 breakdown. This is actually probably going to go really fast because I don't think a ton really happened, but we did get to see some cool images of some of the new boss reworks because the theme of the Devstream was the new bosses. But the first thing that we saw was the new Nemesis Nyx armor skin dealio. It looks really cool. Check it out. It should be on the market right now. I'm not sure if it's for a limited time yet. I haven't had time to look, but if it is particularly limited, I will put something on screen to let you know. In terms of the boss reworks, which seem to be kind of the theme of the stream today, first up we have Neffano right here. Neffano looks interesting. The current event right now has shown his up close design, but apparently this is his kind of boss room design, and he was referred to specifically as kind of like a teapot type thing. I don't really know how I feel about it. It's kind of both ways. It's interesting and different, but I'm not sure if I like it yet. I'll have to see it with the design around his room also added in. The second boss that was shown off, a minor amount. Mostly we got more information on him. Tuareg. We're going to be able to get his sword and board type weapon that he switches to at part of his fight. His stuff will be within 2 months, which means that the next large update will be within 2 months, which is sort of good news. We had more animations. None of them were really new. We got the animation for him switching to his sword and shield little combo type deal. So nothing too exciting on the tile front. But then we have Killa, which we've just got the visual design shown for. I think that she looks really cool. I get a lot of she looks a lot like Mistral in terms of her weird linkiness, I guess, and having the kind of big shoulder armor type, bulky middle upper body. So that's interesting. Hopefully she still stays or she stays without having a bunch of bullshit and vulnerability, which we'll talk about a little bit in a while. But Killa, that's what happened with that. And then we had the last boss that was shown was Golem, the progress on the J3 Golem boss fight, and we actually got a lot of information regarding him. He is massive. This image doesn't particularly show the scale of him, but he is an Arcwing boss, and he will be fought in space for the most part. He is the next trial/raid boss, and his boss fight is going to be the first mix we see between going from Arcwing to on foot and back and forth, I presume. The underwater tile set we have. Originally, I was thinking that it was going to be on Neptune because that's where Tuareg is, but it is an unconfirmed location, and I think if it was going to be Neptune, they would have said so. So I am going to tentatively predict that we're going to get a new planet, which could be good and it could be bad, since they are trying to rework the star chart. Okay, then something that they attempted to talk about, Steve brought this up, and then it was immediately fucking sandbagged by Scott. So passives were mentioned, and then immediately sandbagged, so that's great. Those did not get talked about as much as I would really like them to be. Okay, so, and then they had a question from chat, do things besides invulnerability, because lots of the newer bosses are just completely immune to fucking everything whenever you're near them for, fucking days on end. Just chill out for 30 seconds while I stomp around. I'm on fire. Look how scary I am because you can't hurt me. It's very terrifying. Hello. They said that they don't enjoy denials, where you can't use this, you can't use that, you can't do this thing, we don't want you to kill him too fast, so he's invulnerable, which I'm not sure how much is they don't enjoy it and how much is they don't want to have to do that way, I guess. They want the diminishing return system to be used more, but based on what I've seen of the diminishing returns, the returns are a little too diminishing. Like in Vauban's Bastille, for example, he'll throw a Bastille, and they will be up in it for about 3 seconds, which is somewhere in the margin of, I don't know, a tenth of how long that ability lasts, before they are basically completely immune to it, which I don't think is a particularly good return on your investment in that ability. But that is my thing. And then they talked about doing something with damage, such as maybe cutting it in half so that they could make a boss fight actually potentially last a significant amount of time, which I know sounds absolutely horrible, and it sounds absolutely horrible to me. I don't understand why they would not. I don't know. There are a lot of things that I think that's just a huge problem, because you get to the point where, like, normal enemies and bosses become two different, like, realms of, like, consistency, where you're, like, having to fight bosses in this very specific, like, cluttered way, and then normal enemies. So if you change the, like, way how much damage guns do, and you, like, tone it way the fuck down, suddenly normal enemies are these just, like, pure, like, full on gods. And I don't think that would be a good way to do that, because Warframes aren't supposed to be shitty. So there's that. They said a lot. Geoff was getting a lot of shit about Parkour 2.0 being next stream as opposed to this stream. So we didn't see any of that, but supposedly we're going to be seeing a lot of it on the next stream. The Orbiter was shown, which is this. This is the thing that Ortis is talking about all the goddamn time. So there it is. That's what the Orbiter is, that the ship hooks into after every mission, and where your foundry and all of that shit is. So that's what that is. And then one of the last things that they discussed was the app. This is a small mock-up that they showed of the app. It has some interesting functions on it, like being able to go into your foundry, a mini-game, extractors, Kubro stuff, arsenal, being able to do all those types of things on the move, for especially someone like me, because I am not always home whenever my 12 hours of building this thing are done, and I want to build the next thing, like, let's say, Forma, for example. I want to be able to do that whenever I am engaged with something else, mostly working. So I think that'll be good, and supposedly you'll be able to access chat and get login rewards, maybe. So it sounds promising. I think I've talked about this on a previous stream, but they had a mock-up for it, so I figured I should mention it again. And the last thing that they touched on was Kubros. Kubros are getting their Kubro armor very soon. The Kubros not being exactly amazing was touched on, and we were given a bunch of vague, they will be upgraded at best. Like, it didn't really seem much in the way of actually getting anything better out of Kubros, even though they cost a lot to keep around. And we will be getting a new Kubro soon, which is great. Awesome, awesome. Hopefully it's a Kubro that justifies the cost of a Kubro by, I don't know, instant killing everything in the room every couple seconds, or something to that effect. So, with all of this stuff, I think the most exciting thing was Killa, to be completely honest, because I think her design is really cool, but I think Neffano has potential. The small message that we've gotten from him for this event was actually pretty cool, so I think that this concept for him in a boss fight may be some, like, special machine he's hooked up to, or some other type of thing. But overall, the Devstream was okay. I wish they had gotten to talk about things that will affect the game in more of a big way, such as the star chart rework, but I understand that that stuff is on the way, not necessarily soon. Or the Excalibur rework, which we were told is in the works. Basically, pretty uneventful Devstream, but we got a lot of images out of it. I mean, look at this. I got the app, the Orbiter. I'm doing this in the wrong order. Okay, we got Golem, we got Killa, we got Neff, we got Tile, we got the Orbiter, which is a little less important, and then we got to see the concept for the app. So all in all, it's nothing too terrible, nothing too crazy, but I'm expecting that the next Devstream will tell us a lot about parkour, and hopefully about the rework of Excalibur, so should be good.